of I Run Far, and I'm here at Big Sky Resort on Friday night. It's 2 days before the Rut 50k. I'm with Bend, Oregon's Mario Mendoza. Hey!
How's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, it's good to be here. I just got here.
You just rolled in.
Yes.
Like watching twilight behind Lone Peak as you drove up.
Yep.
What do you think?
Oh man, it was kind of scary actually. I was like, whoa, we gotta go up that.
I mean, it's a pretty imposing mountain as you drive in.
Yes, yeah, really majestic though. It's beautiful.
It's literally a lone peak. It stands by itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfectly like shaped too, just sharp edge.
Yeah.
Pointy.
Yeah. Well, this is our first time, I Run Far's first time interviewing you. It's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know who you are, and a lot of people know your strengths when it comes to road running and trail running. But I would like to start with sort of your background. You've been trail running for quite a few years now.
Yeah, 2010 was my first year.
And like loads of accomplishments. Yeah, you were the Trail Runner of the Year for the USATF twice.
Yeah.
Which means basically performing well in the different trail national championship distances, like trying to perform well at multiples of those in the course of a year, right? Yeah,
like the 10K, and then they used to have the 15K and the half, and then the marathon. Yeah, basically anything sub-ultra. Yeah.
So what was that like? Take us back to like 2010 when you first converted to trail running. Like, you've got so much experience under your belt now, but what was it like going onto the trail for the first time?
Well, you know, to be honest, before in 2010, it's like the sport's growing so much. So back then, you know, you didn't hear a lot of like huge names. It was basically like Max King would win every national championship.
Like Max King show.
Yeah, so it was just Max King show for everything. So it was cool that I was in Bend and became friends with him and just got to know him as just a friend first, and then, you know, he'd showed me around the trails and got me into into trail running and the interest. And so my first one actually wasn't great. I think I ran the half marathon championships, and to date that's probably my worst finish for those. I got 5th. And I stopped twice. I got side stitches, and I stopped twice in the race. And I wasn't in great shape. I was kind of like in so-so shape, but I'm really competitive, so I went out, you know, with the front, tried to stay with Max, and then got a side stitch. But then after that, yeah, I got second at the rest of them that year. And I think it was second to Max each time. So it wasn't a bad year. So I learned quickly, just mostly how to pace myself. But yeah, a lot of those races were still pretty fast. You know, they were like a lot of kind of rolling up and down type stuff, which is a lot like what we have in Bend. So really rhythmic type of running. I really enjoyed it. Really fell in love with just the community, especially in Bend. We just have this great community where runners of all levels just support each other, and I really like that because it's like you feel like you're in a family, you know?
Yeah. You stuck with shorter distance trail running for a couple years before you made your first experiment with an ultra marathon.
Yeah.
Was there a fear factor, or was that just sticking with, okay, I know I can do pretty well at these short distances?
Mainly like, the first year I probably would have been scared. The second year I wasn't as scared, but I think like, I didn't know that much about trail running yet, and I just felt like I wasn't experienced enough to just jump up, and I didn't want to do that. So it wasn't until after I ran Trans Rockies that I was like, okay, I think I can run a good 50K. And so I ran 2 within 2 weeks. I ran the McKenzie River Trail 50K, and then the 50K championships in Bend. So
you just kind of went for it.
I just went for it, yeah. And they both went really well. So it was neat, you know, it was neat to see that.
You don't seem to, when I look at your results with the ultra distance trail races, you don't seem to have like that learning curve that some road runners do when they convert over, where there's some like couple crashes and burns.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you went into it, you know, occasionally you have a result that doesn't quite mix with the rest of them, but almost all of your ultra results are solid.
Yeah. I mean, I've been real consistent. I think, obviously, like, with Max, you know, he's probably one of the most consistent runners I know. But I think, you know, there's a few people I can think of, and I'd say I'm pretty consistent, especially the last couple of years. I've learned how to be more consistent. I think it's maturity, and I think I'm a really patient runner, and I really try to focus on my body, and even though I want to like do the best I can, I think a big part of that is listening to myself. So.
Well, let's fast forward and talk about this summer. You've already had a pretty big summer of racing, and I know I'm missing like things that you've done, but you've been to Cayuga Trails 50 mile. You won the USATF Trail National Championships there. You went and represented the U.S. at the Long Distance World Mountain Running Championships. You competed in the U.S. Mountain Running Championships. Just last weekend, you were at the USATF Trail 50k National Championships out in California.
Yeah.
What else have you peppered in there?
So I think the best week of racing I've ever had was actually the week before Cayuga Trails.
Okay.
So I ran the Trail Factor half marathon.
You did.
I won that, and then I won the 50k like right after that. So they had 2 races back to back.
Like on one day and then another, or?
You had one day in between, so it was like a Saturday and a Monday.
Oh, no way.
And then that Sunday after that Monday was when I won the 50-mile trail championship. But I was like, you know, I was telling somebody, it's like I was just in a really good rhythm, and something clicked, and like I was recovering really well, and so I knew my body, and so I was just like, you know, I need to go for it.
Yeah.
And I went, I didn't know I was going to run that 50 in Cayuga Trails, but after the 50K, just finishing really strong and fresh, I was like, you know, it's like now or never. And it paid off. So it felt really good.
Well, you raced the 50K just last weekend.
How are
you bouncing back from that?
Yeah, you know, so the way I saw it is I felt a little bit off, but I had 2 extra days to recover than last time, and so I think it's about the same. You know, I feel pretty good. I think I'm more nervous about the altitude than the actual like recovery. But I just take, you know, I take the whole week easy, and that's just I just really just trust that, you know, whatever I trained before is in there,
is enough.
And so I don't stress out about it. And I think that's a big part of it, just not being like nervous or worried about it.
Well, you're from Bend. I mean, there's a little bit of altitude there.
Yeah, 3,600 feet.
And you raced the Flagstaff Sky Race last year when you went to high altitude. This weekend, you're going to spend a lot of time above 9,000 feet. How are you feeling about that altitude? And then additionally, how are you feeling about some of the like really technical aspects of the course? I'm sure you've watched the videos.
I did, I watched some of the videos. I was trying not to watch too many, so I wouldn't get so intimidated. You know, it's like you gotta have confidence, right? Like I do the best when I'm a little bit scared, but also confident. And so I am nervous. I mean, I see the elevation profile, and it's like, whoa, and then I look at the times, it's like, that's one long 50K. And obviously, like, if guys like Killian are saying that it's hard, you know, then I know it's going to be super hard for me. But yeah, like, I think I've gotten some decent experience on the technical stuff. You know, that Flagstaff one was not bad. I did a race in Squamish, the 23K, which is pretty technical. This will be a lot more rocky, I think, than what I've done before, so that I'm nervous about that. But I think a lot of it for me is how fresh like my muscles are, like the strength, because I think when I have that I feel more confident in the technical stuff. So I think everyone's kind of different. For me it's a lot more just like, do I have the muscle power in my legs to take that, you know, that steep technical downhill, and so I'm hoping I continue to feel the way I have the last couple of days. Well, last question for you. You have pointed towards Max King as sort of a trail mentor for you, and he attributes to you a lot of his leg speed because he says that you push him through a lot of your speed workouts together. The two of you have raced against each other a lot.
Like, who's going to come out ahead of the other this weekend?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I would say it's not until the last year that I actually can consider myself like kind of close to giving him a good run. And it's just because I've, you know, steadily improved, and I started running late. I started running in college, so I've just continued to get a little bit better. I mean, Max is an amazing athlete, and he's at the top of the sport, and I think if he has the kind of day, you know, when he normally has when he hits it, I think he's the guy to beat. I think he's going to be really good, especially on all the downhill technical stuff. But you got to think you can win, you know. So I definitely came here to try to win and at least give him a good run. You know, the last good race we had, we raced a half marathon in Bend, and we just kept going back and forth, and it was awesome. I mean, that was one of my favorite races ever, because it was like, you know, our strengths would make us like move back and forth in the race, and that was cool to see. And I'm excited. I mean, I think if it's like the way it's been lately, maybe I'll climb a little bit better than him, and he'll definitely descend better than me. I know he'll descend better than me. He's just really good at that stuff. But we'll see, you know, if he's in his good climbing shape, he could climb better than anyone. And so I'm hoping I can at least give him a good race, because I know he really likes that, and just at least give him a good battle up front, and scare him a little bit. So
Max, Mario's got his eyes on you.
I know. It'd be cool, you know, two Bend guys. But I know there's a lot of other good guys in the race too, and I'm sure we'll have our hands full, and especially if there's guys coming from altitude, you know, they'll have that advantage. So.
Well, right on. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.